Travel Radio International's audio journeys, explorations into destinations around the world. In 1955, late-night television viewers in Washington, D.C. were entertained by a nightly 5-minute show called Sam and Friends. Created by television aficionado Jim Henson. Former head writer for the Muppets, Jerry Juhl, speaks with Patricia Lawrence.
For many, many years, I was the head writer for the company. I was one of the writers on the first 5 seasons of Sesame Street, and then went on to head write The Muppet Show and Fraggle Rock and the Jim Henson Hour, and then wrote or co-wrote most of the Muppet movies. The Muppets was founded by this amazing genius named Jim Henson, who started the company in the 1950s in Washington, D.C. One of the things that Jim is famous for is that he remade puppetry, that he became the name in American puppetry during the 70s and 80s. Jim started out as a teenager, not obsessed with puppets, but obsessed with television and wanting to get into television. And while he was still in high school, he heard that a local television station was looking for a puppeteer for a daily show. And Jim went to the library and read some books on puppetry and built some puppets and went down and auditioned and got the job. He was working from that moment on. By the time I joined him, which was as I got out of college, and he was like 2 years out of college, he had in many ways sort of already remade the face of puppetry. Up until then, what people thought of as hand puppets in this country was primarily the little Punch and Judy-like figures that had one finger and 2 little fingers working it. And Jim had suddenly made these strange, flexible-faced creatures who were built out of foam rubber and fabric, were not human and were not animal. They were strange abstractions. And nowadays, you see that kind of puppet everywhere on television, and it's become one of the standard design techniques in business.
Did he also write the scripts?
Oh, yeah. Initially, it was an extremely small operation. When I first went back to join, it was basically Jim and his wife, Jane. We were doing a 5-minute show in Washington, D.C., 5 days a week that came on at 11:25 at night. It came on at the end of the news strip and just before the Tonight Show went on the air. And he did a lot of musical stuff and a lot of kind of wacky parodies.
And it was adult-oriented.
Oh, yeah, it was 11:25 at night. What was really strange about it was that this was Washington, D.C. This was the news junkie capital of the world, and at any given night you could figure that probably a third of the Senate was watching, and who knows in the White House. It ran for years in Washington, D.C., a little pop culture icon in Washington, D.C. Continued on until...
Sample complete. Ready to continue?